and welcome to another episode of Trailblazers Rising. With me, I have two people that I have been following on the internet for quite some time, and I'm so happy to meet them in real life, face to face. They're fantastic. They work in energy not the same way I do, but fellow energy workers, fellow healers. I'm so excited to have you on. It's Rhythmic Metamorphosis, also known as Lisa and Eva. Say hello, y'all. Hello. So this, I'm just telling everybody ahead of time, is going to be a fantastic episode if you are trying to learn about energy work, kind of trauma healing. Trauma identification is what I like to call it, because you have to work on your healing on your own, but figuring out what your trauma is and where it's stored is, the first step. So I'm so excited to have this episode and to do this, and I really manifested this. I want you to know. So first and foremost, we'll dive right in. I have some, businessy kind of questions to ask you. And then at the end, we'll do a lightning round of the ADHD questions, which are fun and easy peasy lemon squeezy. So without further ado, what sparked your entrepreneurial fire? Leave out no details. We want to know everything.
My dad's an immigrant from Greece and has always had his own business or businesses. So I think from a child, the only thing I've ever wanted to do was what made me happy and creative. So from the time I was little, it wasn't until I was an adult that I figured out in this beautiful, amazing simulation that we're living, we can put all of the things that we love together and you can live your life that way. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad that you come from entrepreneurs. My dad is also an entrepreneur, and I'm just now getting to the realization of I have the PDA flavor of autism, persistent drive for autonomy, which really just means don't tell me what to do. I got it. If I need help, I'll ask you, but don't hinder me and don't try and tell me I'm doing it wrong or anything like that. Like the first thing that my mom said to my husband when we were dating and she met him, she's like, so, you don't tell Mel what to do. And he just said, oh yeah, I know that. I figured that one out. And we had been dating for like 2 weeks. So, really what's the word I'm looking for? It's an easy one. The independence that you're able to have and the authenticity that you're able to embody when you're a entrepreneur is so wonderful. And I see you guys doing that on my FYP every single day. Lisa, do you want to add to it? What sparked your fire?
I was getting into school, like trying to figure out what I wanted to study. It was really messy. I pursued a bunch of different degrees and I just couldn't find a butt. And I didn't need to be, and I didn't really like working for other people or people telling me what to do. So that's what I was like, I'm going to be working for myself. I wanted to be doing something that I'm passionate about, that I really enjoy and really balance that like work and joy.
Oh my God, you guys embody that so well too. So what I want you to explain, because you're going to be able to explain it better than I can. Anybody who's been following me for any length of time, especially on a TikTok live, knows that I am a crazy person about house music. I love anything with a good beat, anything that's going to keep me moving steadily forward and have really cool, fun, stupid sounds all throughout it that don't really make any sense, like that. It just scratches such a itch for me that I really, really love electronic music, house especially. But what you guys do is like even cooler and more next level. Explain to everybody listening and watching what you guys do at Rhythmic Metamorphosis.
Yeah, so Rhythmic Metamorphosis is a spiritual and really place that first from the dance floor. And we take the ancient, beautiful ancient art and sound healing and apply it to our sound ceremonies, which are DJ sets.
Oh my God, I love it so much. I will also tell you, as a millennial, I just turned 37 the other day. There was a period of time there where I went to a lot of raves, but they were at people's houses and they were with a lot of water bottles and certain substances that I would never take now because I'm 37 and it would take me 9 weeks to recover. So what you guys do is so incredible and so helpful in the energy healing space because nobody else is really doing it.
No one else is doing it. That's why we started it, honestly. About 6 years ago, I started my journey for teacher training for being a yoga teacher. And I've been a DJ since 2006. And I couldn't find anyone using sound the way that I heard it in the way that I wanted to apply it. And at the time, it was to my yoga practice. So then fast forward, I meet Lisa. We're teaching at the same studio and we are still in the same. So 2 years ago, still in the same place of no one's doing this thing that we have. And she was similar ideas too. So yeah, we're hoping collective consciousness, catches up. But right now it's up.
I really love
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
it's so incredible that you guys have each other because there is, some of our entrepreneurial journeys, maybe not everybody, but I have recently partnered up with Christina over at the Neurospicy Academy, and she's now my business and life partner. She knows what she's getting into, or maybe she doesn't, but she'll find out eventually. So it's such a different game essentially, right? When you're building a business with somebody else, because it's like, okay, I have this idea, I got to talk it over with you. Okay, I have this idea, I got to talk it over with you. Okay, what part of this project are you going to take on? What part of this project am I going to take on? So, and what we have found, and we've been very fortunate, is that her gaps I can fill in with my strengths, and vice versa. So like when people talk to us, they're like, oh my God, you guys are like a superhuman together. And we're like, I know, isn't it incredible? So when you guys work together, what is it that, one of you excels at and the other one is like, thank God you do that because I hate it?
We came with ADHD. So I'm super divergent and I'm a huge, big idea person. So like my brain needs the time that is like really like a neutral time. And that's when I come up with these huge, gigantic epiphanies or ideas. And then Lisa and I will go over a lot of those together and she'll help me take make them happen. Yeah, make it happen. So yeah, I feel like we just have same thing. There's strengths and weaknesses that I definitely the strengths that I have. I think that she complements me with her strengths as well. Because I'm not detail oriented.
So it's funny you should say that. I also I self-identify as ADHD first, and then all my other comorbidities fall in line, but ADHD is the one that's leading the pack. So I understand exactly what you mean when you're like, I get these big ideas when I'm not like thinking I need a big idea and then carrying out the details. If anybody listening is on my subscribers list on my website and you get emails from me regularly, that I'm not going to misspell a there, or there, but I'm probably going to miss a period somewhere and the link may not work and I'll have to send a whole nother email with the right link. But the messaging is there. Messaging is there. So when on the topic of creativity, we know that balancing the creative portion and the strategic side of entrepreneurship is really a juggling act. So how do you keep all those balls in the air?
I think we both kind of balance that out. I mean, we definitely both get like the ideas, this like of inspiration, and it's not just us two. We have some people that help us too with like the logistical things, the strategy of it. We're just like working like things like scaling like structure.
Yeah, I think it's key to know what your strengths and your weaknesses are and just stop trying to make your weaknesses your strength.
Yeah.
But you should find people that are good at what your weaknesses are. You should understand the whole process. You don't ever want to be like devoid of knowledge. But like when you're like, I hate doing that and I'm not good at it, there's no point for me wasting my time that way. It's I think building a business, which as we started bringing people in, it's like, what are you good at? What can you excel at? How can you thrive while we thrive together? I think that's the most important thing in the whole world. That
It's so important.
Everyone doesn't always love to do, but like if you're constantly beating the head against the wall for no reason, like you're not great.
When you first start business, you're wearing all the hats. Like you're running the social media, you're running the emails, you're doing stuff. That generally takes energy out, like the meat and potatoes, which is like the creation part of it. And that's art. It's like, and that's where we shine the most. So when we had the opportunity to bring people on to do that, the other stuff, that is still very important. You're like, now we can like, this is what really builds us, the art creation part of it.
Absolutely. I keep asking myself, what does Millionaire Melanie do? Millionaire Melanie has somebody that does her hair and makeup, has, multiple assistants, has coaches that are certified in her coaching strategies underneath her and all that sort of stuff, right? So how can I start showing up as that person now? Okay, well, I'm going to contract out bullshit on Fiverr that I don't want to do. I don't want to create a fucking logo. I don't care about graphic design. My heart's not there. Absolutely not. No, I want to go make TikToks and, din posts, which I'm starting to do more regularly. But I'm sure it's going to get fun soon. That's what they keep telling me. But, you really got to stop beating your head against the wall. Stop spending any time trying to get better at the stuff that you're not naturally great at and focus as much of your energy on perfecting your craft.
I think that is definitely key. There's some things like as a business person, like you do have to understand the whole game, right? Because part of being in the business is marketing and other strategic things. And like figuring out what that is important and having to understand it because your whole business is going to be based on that, right? Like you have the most amazing offering. But if you don't know how to get it to the people that it's for and you don't understand, you're not going to be able to make any of it at any point in time. So the broad understanding is important as well. So if you read a book for dummies and then
yeah, absolutely. It's like, here's the idea, but I want you guys to carry it out. Thank you very much. I'm the creative force, but I don't have to make all of the Instagram posts anymore. So that brings me to my next question about time management, because as a neurospice person, I don't understand time. I don't think it's actually real. And if anybody would have told me ahead of time that the more fun you're having, the faster time's going to go, I wouldn't have strived to have so much fun because it's already May. So how do you guys, you have a lot on your agenda every single day. How do you manage it all? Do you have any hacks or tips for all of us scaling our businesses?
Yeah, definitely. When I first started entrepreneurship, I was not the best at time management. I procrastinated a lot and I had this realization that was actually a trauma response. So I had to work through that and get to the wound. And after I faced that and healed that part of myself, I was able to be more goal oriented and cut out parts of my day where for me for filling the cups and I could pour out that cup. And also not getting too attached to the end that perfectionist gets comes out and I fixated on I don't get this done, then I am not worthy. Oh wait, where did that come from? So you go back into that. But definitely just setting some goals, making time for yourself, filling up your cup and then pouring out of that cup. Cycle over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me about a recent win you guys have had. Ooh, look at them. They're so in sync. If you're only listening and you're not watching, it's incredible.
Wayne, every day is Wayne.
Oh my God, that's the best answer. Yeah.
We are fulfilling our soul's purpose and our purpose is it's fueled by passion. And I think that's the way.
Yeah. We took, it feels amazing because we took something and we created it from an idea and now it's here. And we are in the middle of finishing up some pretty exciting projects that have been, that also feels like a win too. Because, so we're winning every day, honestly. So I think you have to count the small ones too, because there's different modes of creation, right? So there's the mode of creation when you are building a business, you have to count all of the small things because some people are like, oh, I'm waiting for my book to be out. Well, our book will be out. But every step to get the book out is still a win.
You're right. If you're journaling every day, if you're writing something down, you're already writing the book. That's a ring.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And it's so important too. I tell my clients and I tell the members at the Neurospicy Academy all the time, if you can't enjoy today and everything you have right now, what makes you think you're going to enjoy anything a year from now?
It's there's an idea about once you get to the destination, it's going to be what you should celebrate. And then you learn it's the journey. But the problem also is that we think journey gets us to the destination. So you have to realize it's just right now that matters.
Yeah. The only moment that matters is this moment right now.
Not even a journey. You're just living inside of a dance. And if you can think about that, conceptualize, you do want to get there. You do want to enjoy the whole way there. But this moment is the dance. And it's actually the only one that's life's down. We're on a dance floor.
I love it. I love a dance floor, especially when I'm listening to the music you guys make. So how often do you guys do a lot of traveling and stuff?
We do. Yeah. We do.
So tell me about what do you guys have planned this summer? Do you get people packed up and hit the road and start playing shows, places and whatnot? Tell me all about, I want to know. I'm going to live vicariously through you.
So between retreat and show and smaller ceremonies, we do travel quite a bit. We're going to have a pretty quiet couple of months, I think, until July.
Yeah, probably until the end of summer. And I spent some time these next couple of months, like
we have
in
some
the
big mentors. Yeah.
and getting the projects out, producing. Then towards the end of the summer, we'll start getting out more.
Yeah.
We haven't announced for this year yet. There's some ceremonies and big places besides Denver that in the making because
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. All right, everybody. So that makes everybody has to go follow them so that you can get first dibs on all of the exciting announcements. I love a good announcement. I love a good launch. Don't get me wrong. I love all the exciting dopamine hits that you get creating everything. And then I love nothing more than putting a little something on Instagram stories and then like blanking, like covering it in hot pink and then giving you a little, oh yeah, I love all that. All of that is the most fun part. Because then once you launch it, it's like, oh, now I have to do the thing. Okay, you're right. You're right. I spent all this time getting you excited about it, and now it's like, let me teach you. That's. But when you guys launch something, it's way more fun because you're DJs. Anyways, don't get me off topic. Let's get this train back on the tracks. So I'm very excited to be interviewing the both of you because I have not interviewed two people at once yet. Because this question that I ask people about relationships, because we know relationships are everything in entrepreneurship, right? My neurodivergent brain didn't really understand how important or like what networking really is when you are authentic and when you make people uncomfortable because you're authentic. Because I'm direct. I have no more time on this earth trying to beat around the bush and tell people what I think they want to hear. No more. That's masking and that's emotional manipulation, and I'm not here for it. So, how have you built and maintained strong relationships, not only with yourself, but with your clients, partners, your staff, all that?
being authentic for heartfelt space all the time. It's taking down that mask and also opening the space up for vulnerability. That's where build the trust. It's being vulnerable. Sometimes it is uncomfortable.
Every time you're vulnerable, it is uncomfortable. Every time. Every time. I'm an Aquarius moon though, so I don't like the emotions. I'll feel the emotions by myself in a room somewhere. Yeah, it's hard to feel all that in front of people. So when you're vulnerable, are you vulnerable on your social media?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. All the time. The best thing that you can do is be authentic. And I mean, it was a lesson. It just didn't cross my mind. I didn't realize, I know that it's crazy, but when you are actually neurodivergent, you forget that everyone else isn't having that same experience for you. So now I talk about it regularly to make sure that like and I ask people what they need now, because sometimes I'm not going to get that social cue, or I'm not going to being direct sometimes and blunt or blurting. All of those things happen. So, I mean, even in our relationship, like, okay, what do you need from me? What can I do? I sometimes need a list to make sure that I'm doing those things because they just are something that comes natural, I guess.
Yeah.
So being open about that. So you can't, everyone, and it's not just for neurodivergent. Everyone can't expect other people to know exactly what they need or what they want.
Right.
So everyone had that conversation all the time. Then you'd be able to negotiate. I can't do that. I don't know if I can do that. I'll try to do that. Right. So
And I think if you come from a background of not having that as a child, like that's a wound, and it can be hard to express that and learn how to express that. So that's something that you have in the relationship too.
Yeah. So speaking of childhood trauma, you brought it up, not me. I just got done. The person I was on the call with, it was a member of the Neurospicy Academy. And we were talking about like inner child healing. She's like, oh, I just started this with my therapist. I said, oh, that's so great. It never ends. And she's like, what? And I said, the one thing that I wish everybody understood when you're on, a self-development, a personal development, a business development, a healing journey, you guys know as energy workers, once you get to that inner child and you start working with her or him, whoever it is that you have deep inside you, and you start meeting that person's needs, it does really shift your reality. But at no point does little Melanie or teenage Melanie, even because inner teen healing is a real mind fuck, do they leave? Like they don't just get healed and then they're gone. They're still inside being like, I would really like an Oreo, and then, current Melanie goes, I would really like an Oreo right now too. Let's do that. So on your healing journey, what are some of the ways that you, other than obviously working with sound and whatnot, what have really helped you that you think the people listening or watching would help them too?
I think recently I started putting picture on my, she was 4 years old, 4-year-old version of me, She's in like World Tutu. She's on my altar, and every day I just go up to my altar and like, holy shit, look at the life that you're living. It's so amazing. And like, how can I hold space for you today? Because there's different stages that you go through your life. So you are your baby, your inner child, and then you reach that inner child or the inner teenager, or you are in a teenager that's like rebelling against the inner child and like, look at all the things that you went through and like starts to rebel. And then you get into like your 20s and you're rebelling even more. And then you get into your adulthood where you start kind of like getting a little bit more nurturing and parenting the inner child in you. And then you get older, you kind of become that elder, that like more like wise self, or just like, no, you can parent yourself anymore. You have the tool, you are the source.
Yeah. Yeah. A little picture of yourself.
I
What
ask
about
myself,
you?
I ask myself, when was the first time if I'm having a feeling or emotion comes up, I ask myself, when was the first time that I felt this way? And then, so then I know what version of myself to be working with.
Hold on. I have to process that. We can't go to the next thing yet. So you said, when is the first time I felt that way?
So I felt this way. Like, where is this coming from? You know, if I'm feeling a big emotion come through, I ask myself, where is this coming from? So, because it's not just right now. Big emotion is never just right now, right? It's connected to something. So, and especially when it's like slightly disproportionate to whatever's happening, you know?
Yeah.
Minor inconvenience or whatever. It always is connected to a string of events, right? So if you can trace it back to some place where you're like that and this. So that's my 12-year-old self having a moment right now. And then I know how to address myself. So,
You know, I follow a bunch of different therapists on social media, and one of them, I saw a video, I saved it. I'm probably even going to like duet and stitch it because it really rocked me to my core. Trauma and the trauma you experience and the severity that you experience is not based on the severity of the event, but based on how alone you felt when it happened.
your perception of what it was. A lot of traumas were never, as don't get me wrong, there's some very big traumas in the world. So we're not minimizing, but sometimes when you trace them back, it's your version of yourself didn't have the tools to understand it, and the people around you didn't explain it and somehow made it about you. And so you were inadequate, whether it's shame or fear or whatever, even a baby being left alone in a crib crying by themselves. Like but that turns into this huge feeling of being alone. So yeah, it's just most of the time. I shouldn't say a lot of the time.
Sure.
And, it's really helpful when you're on this journey. It's helpful to understand that when it comes to dealing with other people and their trauma, like, if you felt super alone in your life when your grandma died when you were 14, and your friend who was 14 when their grandma died, had this fantastic family system and support structure around them, it's not going to hold the same weight in each of their lives because of who they had and the support they had at the moment that happened. Again, this is why we don't compare our traumas, and the only people we compare ourselves to is previous versions of ourselves. Remember that. So I'm only going to compare what Melanie is doing right now to what Melanie was doing 2 years ago, 10 years ago, however long ago. And that helps a lot too. So my favorite question to ask people, because I am such an advocate for self-care, is running a business is stressful. We know this. Everybody knows this, because if it weren't stressful, everybody would fucking do it. So, and because of that, self-care is crucial. And self-care is more than a pedicure and a massage. Self-care is literally how you're going to treat yourself every single day of your life. So what are your favorite self-care practices to help you feel centered and help you avoid burnout?
The practice that we created our outreach to the world is something that we both use every single day. Rhythmic Metamorphosis, and this was the practice that we used to heal our trauma. It's the practice we still use to continue to heal and work with our traumas and to embrace every single day. It's also the ceremony and that's a celebration every single day.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
So that I know that's the thing that we both do every single day. And the movement, music, sound, singing, moving your body, moving your body is I feel like the most important thing you could possibly do to express yourself and hold space for whatever you're feeling. I think we both start our mornings with our own self. We take every morning, we have like a ritual that we both do separately before we decide to do anything work-wise. I always make sure that my cup is filled up. And self-care, another thing I do for my divergent brain is there's always a list of things to do. I ask myself what I want to do, what I'm most excited about doing. And and ask for inspiration so I can do that in joy and not so much like a work thing. So
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
Self-care is a form of self-love. So anything that's gonna like make me feel that, that's what I do. Obviously, like rhythm works. It's like the daily this that I do more than like that is self-love. It's holding space for myself. Holding space for yourself is self-love. So it may not be right for everyone. Sometimes it's just going outside and looking at the sun for 5 minutes and just looking into that light and reminding yourself that you are that light. That is a form
yeah.
of self-care, form of self-love. And that's honestly like the simplest way to self-care for yourself.
I love that. And a lot of self-care stems from what you're giving your energy to and who you're allowing access to your energy. Because as an entrepreneur, one of the rudest awakenings for me and for just about everybody that I talk to is the people that were your friends are no longer your friends. And the people that you work with the most, your clients, your audience, all that sort of stuff, really become your friends because they get it and they have similar goals and whatnot. And what I always tell people is, you know, don't ask for directions from somebody who's never been where you're going. So that really the hard lesson for me was stop sharing my goals with everyone.
yeah, I think that when you have to be delusional about your success and your dreams, meaning that beyond all odds, your vision is there and you know what you're going to do. When you do share that out of excitement, sometimes when people don't live in that space of believing in themselves or believing anything is possible, it is one of those things where they can bring up doubt or just even like play, like start questioning what you're saying and they want result, meaning they don't want to talk about the idea or the energy or the creation of something. They're like, oh, well, what did you do already? That shows that you prove that you can. So, and goals are not proof. They're where you're going towards. So,
And not everyone is living their life with this intention for the better good.
Yeah.
Some people aren't even aware that they're setting an intention like that.
yeah.
And that's why it's so important to protect your energy, that solid reason.
Yeah. I remember when I was still working at the restaurant that will not be named, but sucked 5.5 years of my life out of me before I went full time with my business. I was in the dessert area, like bagging up to goes or whatever the hell it was. And this guy came up to me. He was a nice enough dude. We worked together. He's, 10 years younger than me. I've been happily married for 9 million years. So his suave sort of Chad exterior never worked on me. So I really just like to fuck around with him because of that and be like, oh my God, how are you? But he really underestimated me. And I didn't realize how many people at that place were underestimating me because in the beginning, my first account on TikTok that got banned at 45,000 followers 2 months after I quit my job and went full time with my business. Oh, it cuts like a knife, had to start over. I still had that first account and I was growing it, right? And he came up to me and he's like, so, Melanie, how's that what is it you're doing now? YouTube? How's it coming along? And I said, you mean TikTok? And he was like, oh, yeah. And I was like, well, I have 25,000 followers. He was like, what? I said, yeah. And what? Suck on that, Chad. Walk the fuck away. What are we talking about? And it was in that moment that like my spirit guides were very clear with me and they said, listen, stop telling people you're shit. Nobody wants you to succeed.
I think that it's not the way that I like to view it is that they're not succeeding or they're not fulfilling their dreams or they don't even know that that's what they're doing. So they don't love their life. So
Yeah.
more than anything, that's going to be a mirror for them to show them that and that people don't like. And that's going to be reflected right back about how they feel about themselves instead of actually,
It says a lot about how they talk to themselves.
yes.
Everybody is just projecting their own shit onto you. Everyone is just perceiving themselves and hoping that you don't see theirs it on their face. And it's like, nobody is looking at you that close as you're nobody's thinking about it. Like what I always tell people too, when you go home from a party and you are raking yourself over the coals about all the stupid chase, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. The person you were talking to went home and did the same thing, but about themselves.
Yeah.
Nobody's replaying what you said in their brain over and over again because nobody cares about you that much.
Yeah. No one's remembering like that. People remember how you make them feel.
Yes.
So that would be, so unless you made somebody feel really, really bad, they're going to remember that. So
Yeah.
not what you said about yourself or like the Wesley dance move. I don't know. You have to be pretty weird repeatedly and awkward over and over again. I think that's what people are talking about you at home.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So has that mindset really helped you guys when it comes to social media? Because I imagine a huge portion of you growing your business is social media.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you say to the haters when they get in your comments? Or are you guys so good at what you do that haters don't even get seen, they don't see your stuff on their FYP?
Last time I get on there, anytime I get on social media, like I set up brand new bubble. And I'm like, there's always going to be something. And the more that you start to grow, the more that there is. Yeah. Because you're more vulnerable. You're more open to that.
Yeah. And honestly, if somebody points something out that that really gets under your skin for just a moment, asking yourself why it bothers you is really important, right? Like, why did he say, why did what he or she or they got under my skin? If you know who you are and you're being authentic, like, we are not, everyone's not us. And that's no, it's an amazing thing, right? Like, if everyone is like, how the world be boring? So there's going to be someone that's going to say something and, let them say it, keep on moving.
When I say it's me, I'm like, thank you. Like I now am aware of something that I wasn't before. You triggered, you shook something up within me. And I think of triggers as seeds for trees. Like they trigger you and now you can grow from that. Yeah.
I like to remind myself too, happy people don't argue with strangers on the internet.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it, honestly. Well, like, if there's somebody says something, I just, literally, laugh. It's like, okay, is there? Yeah,
That's there. So
like, cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yay. All right. Before we get into the lightning round of the fun neurodivergent questions, I'm going to ask you to plug your spot, tell everybody where to follow you, where to find you, all that stuff.
on Instagram, we're our I'm Awakening. SoundCloud, if you'd like to listen to our music, we're Rhythmic Metamorphosis. TikTok, Rhythmic Metamorphosis. If you're interested in starting your morning or ending your day with some self-love, some self-care, you can do your metamorphosis.
And we do have an upcoming course coming out for breakup.
Oh,
How to get through and heal through a breakup in a way that makes you feel like you're angry.
it's amazing that we're talking about this today on the lunar eclipse in Scorpio. This will obviously come out after that, but really dredging up the old shit that no longer gets to move forward into the future with us. So helping people through breakups is fantastic, 'cause especially as you get older. I've been married for 9 million years to my wonderful husband. He's right over there on the couch. Oh, he's somewhere. I don't know where he is. He's here though. So I haven't experienced a romantic breakup in a long time, obviously, but I have broken up with some fucking friends, and it has really shattered me in ways that I didn't expect it to. And it was a lot longer of a healing process than I was prepared for or thought I was going to have to deal with. So it's funny too, the more you're in a healing space or spiritual journey or any of those things, personal development, professional development, all that, the most random of things really cut like a knife.
Yeah, you do. When you start growing and changing a lot, when you already on a healing journey, a lot of people will fall away. They're no longer going to be a part of your journey. And that can be very difficult, especially in the beginning, right? Because you're not only changing yourself, but then your whole world is changing. But that's the universe saying, level up.
Yeah.
Like, level up. It's like you can't stay in the same place, do the same, and do something completely different. Everything changes when you change.
And when you're healing, you're also breaking off with old parts of yourself. Takes you through the stages too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like when you're moving forward, and somebody explained it to me once of, if you're used to carrying around 2 suitcases in each arm, at like one in each hand, one under each arm, and a hat box on your head, and you're used to walking down the street like that, people are going to look and be like, holy shit, look what she can do. That's incredible. But it doesn't mean you need to keep carrying all that baggage, So as much as I would love for everybody to just drop all of it and start running, there's going to be steps to what feels the most comfortable. And we know growth happens when you're uncomfortable, but we also know that you need rest for growth. If you go to the gym and you're lifting weights, you have to incorporate rest so those muscles can grow and recover and stuff. So, we got to think about, okay, just let this thing go and see what happens. Let this thing go and see, because you can move a lot faster and a lot more targeted if you're not carrying a bunch of old shit.
You can grow from pain and pleasure, not just pain. Just pleasure.
I love that you said that. Do you have Scorpio placements in your birth chart?
Scorpio rising.
Yeah, so I'm a Taurus rising. So you're feeling it. I'm feeling it. And you're feeling it. This fucking eclipse season. I tell you what, I'm so glad I know astrology and I follow astrology and I use astrology, because it was the one thing that and understanding my neurodivergent brain was like, okay, so it's not just me. And I'm not the cause of all of this. I'm the one that, I'm just in the washing cycle right now. I just have to hold my breath and keep it together.
Yeah. They're just water. Well, that's how that's how I relate to the
It's the science of your water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I'm an Aries sign too, so it started in my
Yeah.
song.
I get it. I'm a Taurus sun, Aquarius moon, Taurus rising. So I am very fixed. I am a trailblazer. That's the reason that the name of the podcast is Trailblazers Rising. Anybody can hop on as long as they're going the same exact direction I'm going. I'm happy to lead, but I'm not going to deviate from my path. And I can create the path. I'm happy to do that.
It's amazing. That makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
Thank you. All right. Are you ready for the lightning round of fun questions? All right. Now, these are just, don't overthink them, right? Just stream of consciousness. First and foremost, what's your favorite social media platform?
TikTok.
I've only had one person say Instagram. Everybody else said TikTok. All right. Second question. This is my favorite one. What is the most recent rabbit hole you've gone down?
But I love this conspiracy theories. I'm always down a rabbit hole for conspiracy theories of some sort. So
They had to originate somewhere.
that and like history conspiracy theories. I love that. Like you can talk about like where Atlantis or
Yeah.
Straight.
What's the weirdest thing you've looked up lately, other than like what the actor's name is? Because we all look those up.
Okay, so I know I was trying to write the origin of the word history, and his story is your story, like someone else's story. The story that gives it so
Yeah, that's a good rabbit hole. I've been down that rabbit. I got down that rabbit hole 20 years ago. So come on, keep up. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
What did you find out?
Well, you know what actually started that rabbit hole for me was the movie The Brady Bunch from the 90s. And when Greg was walking through the parking lot at high school and he said, "Oh, you're going to history, huh?" And she was like, "History? History." And it was like a total like sexism thing, which was like big in the 90s. And surprisingly, it didn't make more fucking headway, but whatever. We can do that now. So I remember being like, "Oh my God, it is his story." Yeah, I hate the word. So yeah, look that up. Probably before there was a Google. I'm 37. I'm 28. I don't know. All right. Next question. What are your emotional support shows? So, like, what do you turn on when you can't sleep and you want to fall asleep? Or what do you turn on when you're not ready emotionally to take on a new show?
Both watched pretty much like no TV. For a very long time though, my show was New Girl.
I knew you were going to.
When I did watch TV, New Girl was it for me, and Vampire Diaries.
I want to get into Vampire Diaries. I just haven't yet. Something's holding me back.
Like I rewatched that series probably like 5 times.
Really?
New Girl. Now I just watch
Salvatore Brothers.
Oh.
Wait, David? Yeah, I was David. I was Steve David.
Good to know. Good to know. All right. Fourth question. Have you consumed any water today? And do you want to share your emotional support cup with everyone?
Here, ginger water.
Ginger water. Fancy. I like it. Good for digestion.
We have some Celtic sea salt in my water because I really love potassium. So
Yeah, we can talk supplements after this. Don't you worry. We can talk supplements. That is my special interest. One of them. All right. Last question. What is your current dopamine snack/meal? Like, what can you not get enough of right now?
Chocolate.
yeah,
Dark chocolate. And it's not the, get what the brand is called, but it's made from like the whole cacao fruit. So they use the shell, they use powder, they use the sugar, they use everything. And it's so delicious. It's like soft to the inside and has shape on it's different things.
Mama's something. I have one in
Honey Mamas too.
chocolate. Yeah. So good. So good. I think I just got like a cardamom cinnamon chocolate. They're just like almost like fudge is like the consistency, but they're so amazing and so fresh and all the extra additives. So yeah. So good.
Oh, we
So good.
love that. I love that. Yay. Mine are boring. Mine are just Oreos and cheese toast.
Jesus.
Cheese toast. So, funny story. I was not allowed to make grilled cheeses growing up because I'm forgetful and I would forget that I had a grilled cheese on the stove and it would always turn into a dangerous nightmare. So, we had toaster ovens so that I could put cheese on a piece of bread and put it in the toaster oven. And then the little timer, you can't forget about it in the toaster because the timer goes off and everything. So I don't make grilled cheeses. I make cheese toast.
I got it.
think that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would get grilled cheese on there.
I do too. But even to this day, I burn one side of it because I'm like, oh, and I go somewhere else. and
Yeah.
I come back and it's always too late. So you got to understand your weaknesses and just
Right.
hire contract out right there. So I want to thank you, beautiful angels, for being on the podcast. And I will continue stalking you on social media. I'm so glad we're mutual.
Yeah. So well, thank you for having us so much. It was so much fun.
All right, everybody go check them out. And I love you all equally and for different reasons. Okay, bye.